Hello, my friends. Okay, we are at the Three Sisters Garden, and I want to show you how to prepare the land to grow the Three Sisters this upcoming growing season. We're about 10 weeks away from the time that we would be planting them, so now is the time to prepare the soil. Well, the ideal time is in the fall, but if you didn't do it in the fall, now is the next ideal time. All right, so what is the Three Sisters Garden? I'm sure maybe you can look it up and everything, but I'll just briefly tell you that the Three Sisters Garden is the holy trinity of beans, corn, and squash. All right, now they grow symbiotically and they nourish the soil and they nourish each other. It's the way that the indigenous peoples, it's the way they farmed for a number of reasons. One, because the crops can all be stored over the wintertime without refrigeration. And this is a magnificent benefit. This is what it's all about. Okay. So dried beans, dried corn ground into meal and all different kinds of things. And the squash, the winter squash, will keep all winter. All right. All of that will stay good without refrigeration all winter long. Okay. The second reason is because together, when you cook them together, they are complete protein for the body. They have everything the body needs for the most part. You can really eat this a lot. Okay, very nourishing. I eat it all the time. And third reason or fourth reason, whatever, is that it's very low maintenance, actually. Okay, you plant it and you just kind of let it go. And you'll be seeing it. This is what we'll be doing here at this plot. And I would like you to do it too. Okay, so Three Sisters, it does best if you have space. Okay, if you have like an open field or something like that. If you've got a tiny little garden bed and stuff, or a 4x4, just don't even really bother. Is my opinion, my experience. Okay, the Three Sisters is meant to have the space to just sprawl out. All right, now to prepare the land, we simply dump a wheelbarrow of compost or leaf mold or horse manure or whatever it may be in an area that's about 5x5, okay, in a circle that's about 5x5. You then work it into the soil, as I have done here with the broad fork. And now, see, the Viking way is not to be attached to one method only, okay? It's to do what works best based upon experimentation and experience. So many people are like, oh, you can't use broad fork if you're doing no-till. It's got to be no-till, don't disturb the soil and yada yada. And that's good for a lot of things, for most things. Um, but I have found that to establish a new bed, to establish a new garden area for food growing, you have to initially, at least one time in the very beginning, till it deeply. Now, I'm using a broad fork, okay? Because I actually, the past 2 years, I've grown on this plot, but I didn't ever till it or even work it in. I just did straight up no till, where I just brought in a bunch of hay and leaves, laid it on top 2 feet thick, and it all decomposed. And then the next year I came back and was like, what? And I had like a 1/2 inch of compost on top of rock solid clay. Okay. So it was like uh, the plant roots would spread out into the compost, but they wouldn't go down into the rock hard clay like this stuff you could throw right on a pottery wheel, basically. Because it's old farm field, it's depleted and it hasn't had a forest on it for hundreds of years, for 200 or 300 years. Okay. So it's just subpar soil. So we have to rebuild the soil. So to do that, it's perfectly fine to make the initial tilling of your soil and incorporate all kinds of organic matter, the leaf mold, the grass clippings, the compost, all of that. Now, the broad fork is like a combination. It's not really tilling, but it gets deep. It's more like plowing, breaking up that hard pan, okay? So that the plants can then do it. So I'm using a broad fork, and you can see here how I'm about 10 inches down, and it is just solid clay, okay? But there's this part on top, maybe 3 inches, that has nice, soft, fluffy leaf mold. And hey, like I've been doing root stout in this area. There's all kinds of earthworms in it. Lots of earthworms. But the thing is that it's just the top couple inches of organic matter, and then the rest is rock solid clay. And so when you get that initial till, you can till in all this organic matter, and that's going to really help break up a lot of this. Because look, this stuff, man, this could just go right onto a pottery wheel. I mean, It's just solid clay, you know. There's absolutely, like, I could make a drinking bowl out of this. So you're gonna work the leaf mold and the compost or the horse manure or the chicken manure or whatever it is into the soil. And then we're gonna let it sit for about 10 weeks. And then we'll come back June 1st here in zone 5B, 6A. We're gonna go 2 weeks past the last frost date because we really want that soil to be warm for the Three Sisters, okay? You're not gonna gain anything by starting super early as you can, starting them up inside. No, you don't need to do that. That's part of the indigenous genius of the Three Sisters. They all can be perfectly direct sown right in the ground June 1st when it's nice and warm, and they're gonna explode with growth. You'll see, okay? Because we'll do it together. Now, hopefully you've got a plot, and if you've got, like I said though, if you've got a small garden, like little raised beds, don't worry about the Three Sisters, okay? There's other more productive ways to grow. But if you've got plenty of land, space, then the Three Sisters is the way to go, okay? We're gonna put probably 10 mounds, all right? It's gonna be corn, and then beans growing up the corn, and then squash that sprawls out. And I'll show you all that stuff. I'll show you the exact kind that you need and stuff. But now all you got to do is prepare the soil. Okay? Any questions? Leave them in the comments. Grow something, my friends. It's what it's all about.